Hello everyone, I'm Mark. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing the installation install on the 71 Corvette that I'm doing. Like I said in previous videos, I'm not using what the normal installation kits are for these vehicles because they're kind of pricey. I went online, I found a company, it's called Insulation for Less, and I bought a whole roll of this insulation. It's like an R17 factor. It's pretty thin. It's less than a 1/4 inch thick. And the last C3 I did, it was a 77, and I put it in there. That's the first time I used it. And ended up putting 2 to 3 layers, depending on where the heat spots are on the floor of the car. As you know, if anybody familiar with a C3, you get a lot of heat from the exhaust, from the firewall, and you got to insulate it with something, or it gets hot. So I found this company. It's way less expensive than the stuff you can buy, the Dynamat and all that stuff, for insulating cars, and it works just as good. It's not a peel and stick thing. I'll show you a piece here right now. This is it right here. You can see it's got the silver foil on both sides of it, and you can see the foam. I don't know how well this is showing up. It's actually probably less than 3/16 thick, maybe 200, yeah, maybe 3/16. And it's like a closed cell foam material in between the two pieces of silver foil. And then what I use to attach it, I've already did the dash here on the car, and what I'm going to do is next is I'm going to, let's see if I can show you here a little bit. I just put it along the upper part of the dash, and then I will start right below the heater box there. I'll bump it up against that and start there, and then come back and do both sides of the floor all the way up. I'll probably come up, you know, about halfway up here or something. I don't think I need to go all the way up. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. And then what I use this aluminum tape. You got to peel the paper off the back of it. It's a really thin, flexible tape, but it's sticky as all get out, and it does really good holding it in place. If you can see the tape on there where I've taped it, and it does a good job of holding it in place. This stuff down on the floor, of course, it'll stay down on the floor on its own, but you still want to kind of tape it, keep it from bumping up or moving and leaving gaps. The main thing with this stuff, as you can see, the floor is not square and flat and perfectly shaped. So you got to do some cutting and trimming, and then wherever I cut it, butt it together, I always put this aluminum tape on it, and it does a really good job holding it on there. I got this tape at Home Depot. I don't remember what I paid for a roll of it. It's let me show you here. It's not a very big roll. It's 2 inches by 30 feet, which is basically 10 yards. And then I was at Harbor Freight the other day, and they had a roll. It's 50 yards by 2 inch, and for life of me, I can't remember what I paid for it. It wasn't very much, though. I'm sure I paid less for this roll than I did this roll, and yet it's got a lot more material on it. So I'm thinking the roll I have in the car right now and this roll here I'll use next is more than enough to do this car. I think I used just a little over a roll on that 77 I did. So let me get the camera set up, and we'll get started on this. Okay, I'm not sure how well this is going to show up. I try to get the camera as close to this position as I could. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half, make it a little bit easier to handle. Back up. Okay. So what I want to do is get this up against that heater box, roughly where I want it to be. Kind of like such. pull it down just a little bit because I got to put a piece of tape across the top of that, and I need it down below the bolts to hold that heater box in case I ever have to take the heater box out. And that might be a possibility, I don't know, because I haven't checked the heater and the AC yet to see what all that needs. And then you have to take and peel the back off of this tape, and it's kind of a pain. That tape's so thin. What I usually do is try to find a corner and get under, stick the little corner of the tape to my blade, and then I can pull it off. Basically what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to shove it roughly up into place just to kind of hold it like that, roughly where I need it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape along the top and then work my way down and start cutting sections out so when it folds up it's tight, but it's fitting down tight into the floor pan. I think the hardest thing about this is getting this tape peeled off like that. And like I said, for as thin as it is, there's not much to it, but it's pretty strong. But man, is it sticky. So I know I want to be tight down like that, right? So I need to come in here. Basically cut that like that. Like that. There, and see you get a nice tight corner there. Like that. And then here, you put another piece of tape across the top. Probably the most important thing is keep a sharp blade in your knife. What I do is I've got a sharpening stone, and when it starts acting like it's cutting just a little bit harder, I'll just hit it on that stone rather than replacing the blade, a dozen times while I'm doing this. Saves on a little bit on cost, and to me it's just a little bit sharper than the factory grind on the blade. Okay, so I got this vent over here. I want to cut around it. Like that. And this is kind of time consuming. It takes a little while to do it correctly. There's a lot of cutting and fitting. The second layer I put on, normally I just put it mainly in the flat spot. I don't worry about coming up on the transmission hump or anything like that, or up on the sill plates here. Because most of your heat is right through here where your exhaust pipe comes through. So that's mainly where I'm worried about the second and third layer. I'll usually put 3 layers right here where your feet go, and then back here and up through here, so you don't get too much heat up through there. The other thing I like about this, because I'll go ahead and I'll do the doors too, and it's not only an insulator for heat, it's also a sound deadener. So hopefully these cars aren't known for being quiet going down the road as far as road noise. So hopefully it'll help kind of keep that noise down just a little bit too. So what I do next is tape along here. And I don't think I'm going to videotape this whole thing. I'm going to just show you the basic getting started here, and then I'll get some done, and then maybe show you my progress as I go, and then the finished product. Because like I said, sometimes finding an edge on this tape to get the blade under it, it's kind of hard. I don't know. You get it flexed just right, and then you get right under it. But usually I try to, when I tear it off like that, I try to bend it a little bit back and forth as I tear it, and it'll make it a little bit easier to get off. But I mean, there's been a couple times I had to just throw the piece of tape away because I physically couldn't get the backing off the tape. Okay. And then I wear bifocals too, and that doesn't help because you're trying to get that blade right between that aluminum and the white backing, and doesn't give you much room for error. And anybody that wears trifocals knows what I'm talking about. So that tapes down really nice, holds it right in place, and it kind of finishes it off. And then what I'll do is I'll work my way down and over to this side and down, and then up here I will have to probably have to slice it right here, and then probably a couple spots here to get this to lay down nice and tight against the floor pan. It doesn't have to be perfect because the carpet will hold it down too, but I figure the closer I can get it to fit, the better the carpet will lay down. There, looks pretty good there. And I'll usually put a little piece over this right here to kind of finish it off. Man, it is warm today. I think they said it's supposed to get up to 100 here today. And I turned the fan off so you could hear me, and I got sweat running off my elbows here. See, that looks pretty nice so far. Almost looks professional. Get another piece, so we'll have to go in here. Lay up there like that. Tape's not sticking too good up there. It's got that caulking material, and it's just not laying down too good. Like I said, this tape mainly just has to hold it until I get the carpet in here on it, and then it'll hold it down. And where the seats go, I normally cut out around where the seat brackets go, so the seats bolt right down to the floor still through the carpet. I found if I don't do that, it's pretty thick to get the bolts down through it. So I'll just stick this down here for now. Oh, it's not going to stick to that. I might have to clean that a little bit more. It's got some dust and stuff on it. I vacuumed it out and scrubbed it down, but it's still got some residue on it. So let me get a little more done here, and we'll get back to. I got the first section in here on the passenger side. Now I'm just doing across the transmission hump. Stick that on like that. Yeah, I was telling you I bought this insulation from a company, and I don't remember exactly what I paid for it, but I know I've already done one C3 with this roll, and I've still got most of the roll left. And I was thinking I gave like $180 for the whole roll. I don't remember how long the roll is, but it's I'll show you on the end here. I don't know if you can see how many wraps are in there, but that roll is probably almost a foot in diameter, and it's still got quite a bit of material left on it. So it was definitely a lot less expensive than going with the insulation that's made for the cars, because you only get enough for one car, and then you're done. So this is, for me anyway, it was a lot more economical way to go. And you don't have to make it fit perfect or cut it perfect, because you can always piece it. So my goal right now is to finish this side, get it down along this side the way I want it, and then come in, I'll cut another piece for over against the transmission hump. It'll be a little bit easier than trying to make it fit perfect. Come up about that high. What I want to do is I want to tape it along here first, and then I can work it against here and down, and then work my way across. I don't know if you can still see me in the video or not. I'll turn the camera just a little bit. See what that looks like. Yeah, I don't know if you can see up front there how that looks. I'll come back here in the back. And on that front piece along in here, I did use some spray. Basically, it's a multi-purpose adhesive to kind of help it stick down a little bit against that hump up there, because it's kind of dirty and the tape wouldn't want to stick real good. So I did use a little bit of spray. I don't like using that stuff because I usually end up getting more on me than I do on the car, and I hate being sticky. Plus, you're going to have to take this back out again. You're dealing with a sticky, gooey mess. So let's see here. Maybe I'll take that there yet, or no. That might be too close where I have to bend it. I might have to cut the tape and redo it. But I'll leave it on there for now until I get it all taped along here, and then we'll see what we have to do. Stuff's pretty flexible, and you can work with it pretty good. If you end up with a little gap or something, you can always come back later and piece something in. It doesn't have to be a solid sheet everywhere. Nice thing about this stuff, it doesn't have to be one piece. It's still going to insulate, especially if you put multiple layers on like I'm going to. It's going to work really well. Sure, it'd be a lot nicer if I had somebody here that could peel this tape for me while I'm fitting everything. That takes longer than the cutting and fitting. Like I said, I have thrown away a piece of this because I got it peeled off and I just physically couldn't get it to get it peeled. And a quick amount of time. I mean, I'm going to spend an hour trying to get the backing off one little piece of tape. I need to figure out a better way to do that. Maybe split that in the center or something on that white backing where you could peel it off there easier. And if anybody's got a better idea on how to peel this stuff, please let me know. And this stuff is like thin as aluminum foil. It's fairly strong, but it's easy to tear. Okay, this is taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. I can't really shoot a whole video of this. It's going to be 4 hours of boring video. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you what I got done so far. I've been working on about 45 minutes. I know that because I just had to change the battery in my GoPro. So and that takes about 45 minutes to run down. So this is what I've got done so far. And you can see it's laying down pretty good in there. And I still have to finish this area here on this side, and then I go over on the other side. But I have 2 layers there in the front. I only have 1 layer here in the back. I think I'm going to put 1 more layer in that lower area right there, just to kind of insulate it. But I'm going to go ahead and just finish this up, and then I'll shoot a video of it when it's all done. I might stop when I get this side done and show you, and then start on the other side. But otherwise, I'll see you at the end of the video. Okay, I've got the passenger side finished. You can see it goes up to the heater box. Got it most of the way over across the center console area and the transmission hump. And then I'm not coming all the way up on here because you really don't get any heat up into here, because that's actually back inside the passenger compartment by the time you get up this high. So this will protect and insulate down where any heat from the road or the exhaust would come up through the car. And then in this area right here and this area right here, I double layered it. So hopefully that'll help even more keep some heat out from where your feet sit and coming up from where the seat goes. So I think on the last C3 I did, I think I put 3 layers here and here, but I don't really think that's necessary. I got 34 R factor insulation on this, so that should be plenty, I think. And then for sound deadening, like I said, I'm gonna put a layer of this on the doors before I put them back together to help as a sound deadener and a little bit of insulation also. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side, and then I'll take a picture and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Like I said, this is taking a little bit longer than I'd planned on. I don't remember taking this long on the last car, but it must have. It's a lot of cutting and fitting, and with that silver tape, I mean, probably the easiest way to use a spray adhesive, but I don't really like that, because if I have to rip this out, I want to be able to pull it out fairly easily. And I like how the tape seals up all the joints, so there's no place where heat can come up through between the panels if you don't have them fitting exactly tight together. So I kind of like going that way. I think it makes a lot better job. So I will get the other side done, and I'll show you a finished video. Okay, so I finally got the car done. It is 5 after 5, and I think I started around 2:30. So it took a little while to do it, but this is what it looks like now. Nice and shiny. It looks like a space shuttle. Got it ran along the back, up over the center console area, up under the front of the dash here, along the dash. Down the other side. And it's a single layer everywhere except that little recess there, and up there where your feet go. Same way on the driver's side, where your feet go, and the little recess there. I double layered it just to kind of help insulate it just a little bit more, but it should be good the way it is. Real happy the way it turned out. I did use some spray adhesive to make it stick to the center console area and the transmission hump and some other places just to make it easier, but I just don't like working with it. My hands are all sticky now, and if you ever had to take that stuff back out, it's going to be kind of a pain, so I don't like using it. But anyway, the company that I bought that stuff from, it's called Insulation for Less. I'll put a link down below in the description, and you guys can check it out. If you can use it on anything. I mean, it's actually made for structures, not vehicles, but
it works just fine for that. So if you need installation for anything, they've got a lot of different types too, more than just what this is. So if you need anything like that, just check out their website. And like I always say, you know, if you enjoy the videos, hit the like and subscribe, share them with your friends, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day.